What problem are you solving is the most important question to ask, because I do talk to a lot of founders who are excited about technology and excited about a solution they built and something cool. And if you really got to start, if you can't articulate the problem you're solving, it's really easy to spend a lot of time investing in something cool.
That's Marty Kagan, co-founder and CEO of Hydrolix.
My name is Marty Kagan. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Hydrolix. We're a Portland-based startup, a couple hundred people, 700 customers, and we provide a streaming data lake for companies that are trying to do observability and security and just need to deal with large amounts of data. I'll give you a good example. Just had a call this morning with a very large company that generates 300,000 VPC flow logs a second. Their current platform takes them 48 to 72 hours to process the data. So if something's happening, they got to wait 3 days before they can actually do anything about it. And Hydrolix, where our claim to fame is we focus on 5-second time to glass. So during the Super Bowl last year, just earlier this year, Fox was doing 14 million events a second, and they had visibility within 5 seconds. So wow, that's kind of what we do.
That's great. Thank you. You mentioned a term that I love, but that I'm not sure I always fully understand. So I'm going to ask you, what exactly do you mean by streaming data lake? I know what a data lake is, but what's a streaming data lake?
Well, I think the idea is that there are lots of technologies out there that are designed for cold storage, where you kind of do batch, you wait until overnight, you load a bunch of data, and the next day you do a bunch of business intelligence on that data, versus a platform that is designed for that real-time kind of aspects of data just flowing in and coming in. There's oftentimes companies will have a data warehouse for their real-time data, and then they'll archive things into a data lake once it gets kind of old. We wanted to kind of eliminate the whole notion of hot, warm, and cold, and just said, all your data is hot. I don't care if it's 3 years old or 5 seconds old. It should all be hot. We should all be able to search it.
What inspired you to work on this problem? Was it a particular pain point that you encountered, or a customer need?
This is really a spin-off of my last company. So we had another company here in Portland called Sodexis that we sold back in 2018 to Citrix. That company was generating 23 billion records a day, writing it all into Google BigQuery and just writing blank checks every month to Google. And my co-founder said, I just think there's a better way to do this. I think everyone's doing this wrong. And I was like, you're probably wrong, because there's a lot of really smart people in this space. But on the off chance you've kind of squinted at the problem a little bit differently, it's an $8 billion market to disrupt. How much could it cost to build a proof of concept? I don't know, let's see what we can do. And discovered really quick that he really was a better way to solve this, and there's a lot of pain, and a lot of companies are looking for a better solution.
It also seems to be exceptionally well timed for the AI era. Was that on your radar, or is this just easy access?
We were out in the market talking about changing the economics of your big data, thinking that it's a pain, and there definitely was pain, but it got exponentially worse. So you got finance coming in telling IT, you got to get on your data costs. Data costs are out of control, and you just got to keep it manageable. And the only way to really do this is to throw data away. And then you've got product engineering, data science saying, no, I need all the data. All of it. And so that incompatibility, those are different directions, created this sort of crisis. And so with our message of changing economics, there's a very receptive audience to say, if you can solve this for me, if you can make both the finance team happy by lowering the cost and the slope of that curve, and you can make all my product engineering, data science happy by making all the data hot, why would I not buy this?
It's always nice to be skating to where the puck is going, I guess, even if it's slightly accidental.
Well, even just now, we're looking, agentic, AI is generating amazing amounts of data. MCP servers are generating data. AI bot detection become a major problem in e-commerce. LLM logs, all these things are just generating more data than anyone's ever thought about before. And so these legacy systems that were built for 1 million transactions a day weren't designed for 10 million transactions a second. So we're excited to be kind of positioning ourselves in this new area.
Ever since I began in startups 30 years ago, there's always been this mythology about just generate enough data and somehow we'll figure out a way to make value out of it. And it seems like now is the time where we're actually figuring out how to generate that value with that data. Shifting gears just a little bit, I always think of founders as great people to provide advice to other founders, serial founders even more so. So as somebody who has done this multiple times, what is one piece of advice you would give to somebody who is either just starting out or perhaps thinking about starting a company?
That's a fair question. I think my first startup, the goal was to not go out of business. And every day that I wasn't going out of business, I had beaten the odds. The goal this time was to make all new mistakes, and just learn from what what had gone well or not gone well last time. Learning how to be more level-headed, to be a little bit less tied to the tracks. I feel like in the first company, we'd win a deal in the morning and be like, "This is the greatest thing ever happened," and we lose a deal in the afternoon and be like, "I can't believe I wasted 5 years of my life on this." And learning how to be more, like, it's good to be excited when good things happen. It's good to be concerned when bad things happen, but providing sort of that calmness in the organization, I think I'm doing a better job this time than I did last time around. I, I think the other thing for me, just the way I manage team, like the most important asset is the team. The thing I worry about most, the thing that keeps me up at night is employee retention. And as long as you're recruiting great people and you're retaining great people, you kind of can weather a lot of stuff. If you get distracted, start thinking about people in terms of human resources rather than a team, you can kind of get yourself in a bind. So we have a philosophy internally. We talk about family first, and just making sure that we're taking care of the folks and treating them like adults and not babysitting them, and giving them the room to be creative and to say, no, I hear what you were saying. That's not really what you want. What you really need is this other thing that's like, and it's the problem you're articulating is clear, but the solution is actually over here, and giving them the freedom to come in with that creativity and really figure out the right thing to do is really what's enabled us to grow and scale.
Kind of falling down that same line, what is one resource that either you use or you might recommend for other people that could be beneficial to them in this pursuit?
Two things I relied on early on were JustWorks and Oyster. So we have about 200 employees today, 100 in the US, 100 overseas. In the US, about half kind of Pacific Northwest, Oregon, Washington area, and the rest are all of our US employees are employed through JustWorks, which is a PEO, handles all of our payroll, handles vacations, handles all the paperwork, all of our medical insurance, everything. Just don't want to deal with that stuff at all. And then overseas, we have 100 people all mostly employed through Oyster. They are an EOR. They've got wholly owned subsidiaries in every country. So everyone's an employee. No one's a contractor, but they're all working for a local thing, and they handle all the benefits and all the taxation and then mandatory pension. And those things like that, if you can just get it off your plate and not have to worry about it and not have to deal with it, and just, it's not core to my business. It needs to happen. But no one in the company is actually paid by Hydrolix. Everyone's paid by one of these people. And we did that early on. It just made everything easier. And there's a lot of things that last time we didn't do Carta until much later, and there was a huge pain to switch onto it. This time we did from day one. Last time I didn't have a board of directors until our Series seed round. This time, the day we opened the company, I already had a board of directors. We already had a cadence of board meetings and lawyers doing board meetings, just doing everything from day one the way you want to be, and not having to come back later and figure it all out. I think sometimes it can be hard to think about when you're first starting out and you got two guys in a room or three people in a room trying to figure out the first thing. Just already think about plan for success and set up the way you operate in a way that you're going to be able to scale and grow.
I think so many people get into this thinking it may be messy, but we can figure it out later, without recognizing that figuring it out later can sometimes be challenging and costly.
The only other piece of advice I give when I talk to other founders all the time, they just always talk about what problem are you solving is the most important question to ask, because I do talk to a lot of founders who are excited about a technology and excited about a solution they built. It's been cool. And if you really got to start, like, if you can't articulate the problem you're solving, it's really easy to spend a lot of time investing in something cool. So we, even internally, as we're looking at new projects and initiatives, we're always saying, what problem are we solving? Just make sure everything is grounded in that.
Well, Marty, you have been very helpful with your insights and time. So I want to make the offer of, like, how can we listening be most helpful to you and Hydrolix?
We are hiring right now. We've got a bunch of positions posted on our website. Some of them are international, but some of them are here in town. And so we're always excited to, I have a bias towards Portland. We are located in the Kiln building out in Southeast. We're very much ensconced in Southeast Portland. and love, whenever we can. When I can hire here, I try to hire here. When we can't find the people with particular skills, then we'll hire elsewhere. But we do really want to build a great Portland company.
Do you have a startup story to tell? I would love to hear from you.